What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Vault Hunters with me, Simply Zach. And in today's episode, we're going to be finishing off our 1.16.5 playthrough with finishing the house and running some fun vaults, so let's get into it.
Is anyone there? Hi.
And we're going to be starting off today's episode with a fun vault crystal that we got in our last episode in one of our treasure rooms, that being the Vault Trove crystal. So this is a unique crystal that you can obtain from those treasure rooms, and going into it, you're only going to be able to go solo, you're not going to be able to go with a team, and you're going to want to make sure and bring some Terra Shatterers or something like a mining gadget to get rid of all the random stuff in here, so let's jump right on in. So first thing you'll see coming into this vault is it is a one-room vault, and it's got a 15-minute timer. There are not going to be any mobs scattered around. Instead, there are going to be tons of treasure chests and lots of vault ore, as well as a good mix of random kind of trash blocks like the golden sand and golden concrete, with some random colored wool thrown in to kind of emulate jewels, if you will, like a nice big pile of gold. We're just going to get right on into here and start mining out some of these chests and filling our pockets with all the goodies. Of course, we have our danks and our backpacks to just automatically pick up all this stuff so we don't got to worry about it. You're going to want to make sure you have a way to get rid of all of the trash blocks that you're going to acquire throughout this vault, because after you've cleaned off the top of the treasure pile, there will be a fair amount of stuff down underneath you're going to want to dig to. And if you're like me and you forgot or don't have your vault looter thing, or you don't have any kind of way or a trash dank set up, you can always make use of one of your main danks like I'm doing here. So I'm just going to go through and pull out a few of these ores I know I'm not going to find within this vault. And instead I'm going to, in their place, put some of the trash blocks that I'm acquiring, like these random yellow and golden blocks, and some of these darker blocks like the vault stone and stuff. So we'll lock those into place, and we'll set our dank to void mode, and then any of the blocks that we pick up that kind of overflow that slot will just immediately get voided, and we'll get to keep a few for building purposes, because you know me and I love my blocks, and I also love wrecking Minecraft's frame rate. Look at that. So I think we've gotten most of the ore out of... Oop. Never mind, we have not gotten all the ore out of here. Just goes to show, never give up on digging. So I feel like we've probably gotten it all now at this point, and this room is looking like a bomb went off in here, but it was simply my Terra Shatterer and my will to find loot that has done this room in. I do appreciate you, Vault Trove, and had a lot of fun, but I'll see you next time. Don't think I'm going to end up doing a loot haul for that, just because there actually wasn't that much good loot in there, unfortunately. I've had better vault runs with more loot, but it was an easy loot, so I will take it where I can get it, and I got some good crystals and stuff from there, so I'm happy with it. We've definitely been making some progress on the house around here, adding some random furniture here and there, trying to give it a little bit more life than the empty box that it currently is. But I think in today's episode, we're going to put a bow on it and really get down into it and finish this bad boy off. So let's get started. We're going to start by taking this area over here that currently doesn't have a wall and giving it one, so that we can have a better foundation for exactly how the roof of the bottom floor / floor of the second floor is going to work out, if that makes any sense. I do really like the way this stripped spruce looks with this gabbro, so we'll probably stick with that theme, kind of rolling around and maybe mixing in some white blocks as well. Having a good like three-toned palette here works good. And another thing I'd like to point out is when you build a building from the outside coming in, as opposed to constructing your rooms and building outwards, you'll end up with some kind of strange sections that don't really like line up properly, like right here. But you can just, you know, throw some blocks in there, some filler, and then if you end up wanting to reshape it in the future, it's not a problem. But in my opinion, it's better to have it kind of as a nice flat wall than, you know, some random little blocks here or there that are just missing. It just doesn't look good, so might as well just fill that on in. Finish stripping these out and come over to this other side. It's time for us to start preparing where the door is going to go here, so I believe the door is looking good kind of in between here. Maybe something like that. And probably need to bring that up and line it up with that pillar, like so. And build this on up. We'll end up having to do something with this roof section right above my head here because there's a lot of grass that's showing through and that is not great looking, but we'll come back to it over time. Like I said, we're going to get this whole bad boy finished in this episode, so nothing will remain untouched and unsightly. I'm going to come back over here now that I've got the doorway lined up, and I believe it's going to be time to probably empty my inventory because this is looking a little bit ridiculous. I know we're playing modded Minecraft and I have danks and backpacks and all these fancy contraptions and gadgets for keeping my inventory sorted, but I just never really think to use them when I'm building. I just always like it having all my blocks just right in my inventory and easy to look at, even if it's a little bit more micromanagey. Let's go ahead and fill this wall in with some of this travertine and some of this gabbro. They look really nice and just kind of splotching them in there. Really just adding like a couple blocks that are similar color but a different texture can add a lot to a build and give it a little bit more variety and something to look at when you're just kind of running around. Keeps it from looking boring or sameish. And I guess it's a good point to mention too, at the beginning of the episode I pointed out that this is the end of our Let's Play for 1.16.5. This is going to be our final episode, but do not fear if you're a fan of Vault Hunters. I will be back and doing a full playthrough of the new pack that's coming out here pretty soon. At the time of this video coming out, it will probably be about a week away, maybe 2 weeks away. So stay tuned for that if you're a Vault Hunters fan. I'm looking forward to getting into the pack. Filled out some more of the floor here. I think this room we're in right now is actually going to be pretty fun. I think it's going to be the bedroom. It's got a nice skylight on it. It's a little bit of an interesting room up here. And one of those weird sections I was mentioning earlier. Just going to fill that on out. But yes, there will be actually some more information about the playthrough of the Vault Hunters, of the new Vault Hunters map at the end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned for that, and I'll make sure and touch on that a little bit more and what the plans are going forward for the new season. With that being said, I think now that we have this extra wall put up here, I can actually keep just etching out this floor and figuring out exactly what I want to do design-wise with this. And while I'm getting this little section figured out, I think it would be an ideal time for you guys to check out our Anarchy Crystal. So I call this the Anarchy Crystal because it is quite the crystal. We've got modifiers on here to make us stronger, we've got modifiers to make the mobs weaker, we've got healing, and the most important modifier of all, we actually have 2 of the 3 modifiers that will cause as many mobs to spawn as possible. We actually ran this crystal purely for the soul shards and to get in here and try to get as many of the soul shards unlocked as possible, because who doesn't love gambling all their soul shards in the soul shard shop and getting nothing to show for it, because it is a great time. There are so many mobs spawning in this vault that you pretty much didn't have a second to breathe. Regardless of which room you were in, they were just going to be swarming you non-stop. Chad actually had a bit of a hard time. I believe he was a couple vault levels lower than me, as well as he was only at, I think, 25 on his armor rating, if I remember correctly, whereas I'm sitting at 28. And this is also a good point to mention that the Biscuits of Totality are easily the best food you can have in the vault once you have unlocked Botania. If you have spent all the points to go ahead and get that unlocked, I highly recommend checking out the Biscuits of Totality. They are a little bit pricey on mana consumption, but oh man, when you have hunger on a vault especially, they're good, but just in general they're good because one biscuit completely fills your hunger and your saturation, so you're not spending a bunch of time just sitting there eating during the vault. Particularly during this run, we did not have more than a couple seconds in between engagements sometimes, so they came in clutch there. And just in general, unless you have the Gluttony Charm, you want to be spending as little time eating as possible. If you do have the Gluttony Charm, please let me know down in the comments how you actually like that mod, because I've never actually unlocked it in one of my playthroughs, because it just seemed like the only reason you would invest into it is for the Gluttony Charm, and usually I would rather wear a Botania Charm of some kind, so never really experimented with it too much, but it did look interesting. Instantly eating food is a pretty strong effect to have, so I imagine it might have some good use cases there. So this vault as well is just, especially when Chad came into this room that I'm in here, the mob spawning to double because we're both in the same room kind of made things go off the rails a little bit, and things got a a little bit out of control, a little bit too much, so to speak. Creepers and all kinds of things blowing up and going off. So here's a little bit of the live audio for you guys to listen in on. I dropped my rampage in my freaking tank. Let's go. There went your totem. Get out of there, Chad. Get out of there. You don't want Oh god, there's not afterlife on this one, so yeah. Get me out of here. Almost lost my armor in that one. Got 1,300 soul shards though. But I don't think I do. I'm just gonna pull. Wow, I got completely f***ed on my pools. Let that be a lesson to everybody not to gamble your soul shards away in the shop, because that was pretty rough. Got this area finished up though, it's looking better up here. Still not completely sold on this greenery area. Bedroom area is still the same, haven't really touched it, but I like this little glass railing we got up here around the center circle. And we're gonna just roll on, sticking with the theme of glass now, and come on up here just to add a nice little window up into these second story kind of, I guess, entryway slash stairway area. So this window isn't really lining up on the outside the way I want it to line up on the inside, so we're gonna have to make a few tweaks and changes, but that's the beauty of Minecraft. You have a vision and you can just tweak and change things here and there a little bit at a time till it matches up with what you're wanting. Haste went a little bit overzealous there, as it usually does, but we love haste. It makes mining so much easier. We'll take a little bit of difficulty when it comes to building small little details and stuff like that. Dunk, 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 and dunk, dunk, dunk. And the glass is in place. Beautiful. This area is looking a little awkward up here. I'll probably add some slabbage to it just to see if that helps. Not that one, though. That one's kind of weird. Dang it. Again with the freaking haste, man. Maybe I can... there we go. I think I got it. Yeah. Alright. Perfect. So coming back around to the back side here, we're actually going to need to add a staircase going up to the little attic area of the house here. So currently there is not a way to get up there, so let us take care of one. We could add just a elevator block, but that's too easy. We like things to look natural and flow well like it would in a real house. So we're going to go ahead and add a little half slab staircase kind of tucked away in the corner over here. Really like the look of this basalt, I believe it is. I'm not 100% sure. Basalt, I think it's cobbled basalt is what I'm using here, and really like the look of it, as well as those ebony fences. If ebony wood was in vanilla Minecraft, I would use it pretty much non-stop, I think. I truly love the way the black and white woods look. That's the one thing that vanilla Minecraft is missing that it would do well with. So let's go ahead and dig this little area out here so our staircase is actually functional, and now we have a way up into our attic. Patch that little area up. For some reason, I'm going to not patch that other one up. And gonna add this nice little stairway to our roof garden. And our roof garden is actually lacking in the garden part right now, because first we're gonna add some solar panels. And those don't look necessarily the way I wanted them, so I think I'm gonna stick them on some of the ebony posts as well. And these are just the starter solar panels from Powa. I believe we actually got these from one of our treasure rooms, and I'm not gonna wire them to anything, I don't think, but in my opinion, a house this big in real life would probably have some solar panels scattered around somewhere anyway, because, you know, sustainability and all that kind of thing, so might as well throw them up here. I think they look rather nice and kind of break up that roof garden a little bit, especially once we grow some grass and stuff up there eventually. I think that'll really tie that together. The next order of business is going to be to fix this hole in the top of our tower here, because right now it's not really a tower, it's just more of a cylinder until we get a roof on it. We're going to come right in with our carpenter slabs here, because carpenter slabs are my preferred way of doing like detail work like this, so you don't have to carry around, you know, 50 or that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but a metric ton of different blocks. You know, if you want to build something out of, say, gabbro and cobblestone, instead of having gabbro, cobblestone, and then all the variants of those blocks, you can just have gabbro, cobblestone, and then the variants of carpenter's blocks. And you can just use the carpenter's blocks as a way to have an easier palette to paint your blocks on, so to speak. So it's a little more expensive to do it that way, but it's a little easier for me, resource-wise, and also for texturing. It's a really fun way to texture. And I'm kind of running out of gabbro blocks and travertine blocks here, so the texture on the top isn't going to look the best, but it is what it is. It's the top of the building. You know, no one's really going to be up here seeing it except for us, so I think that looks rather manageable. Probably going to need to add some more stuff on the inside of the tower here, like mainly this pole needs to come up and connect with the top here. Give it a little bit of structural definition, I do believe. And now that that's there and completed, we can probably go ahead and add our little rail so that we're safe and don't go tumbling down the staircase. Probably should add some more shape to that area at some point. We'll revisit it though. I want to go to areas that I'm for sure I need to know, like, need some changes. And right here is one of them for sure. It's kind of on the back side of the kitchen area, right after you come through the entranceway. We're just going to add a few windows here overlooking the walk-around porch and kind of out towards Chad's house over that way. I'm going to dink a few of these little glass panes in there. And of course, you can never have enough glass panes. I'm always running out, so grab some more. Come back over here and throw those into place. And I'm going to come back over here and grab a few torches, or not torches, lanterns as well, because I want to get rid of all these torches that are just kind of spammed around here, because I don't really think they're looking too good. Speaking of not looking too good, I don't really think this roof over the kitchen's looking too good, looking a little bit muddy in here, so I'm just going to come through and patch that up. Ran out of those, but not a problem. Got carpenter slabs to fill the gap. Much better. A little bit cleaner for sure. And now we're going to take these lanterns and start placing those around in lieu of torches because they just look a little fancier, a little more refined. We've all seen torch spam in all these other Minecraft builds. Another fun light source we're going to be adding in lieu of the torches is going to be this fireplace in the corner here. If I can figure out how to work these freaking carpenter slabs. They've been giving me quite a bit of problems in today's episode, I'll say that. We got them where we want them though, and we'll just fill up the wall here above them, kind of do this fancy-ish little corner design for the fireplace here. I think that looks pretty nice. And a little bit of fire and smoke gives the build a little bit of life to it as well, a little bit of movement going on, so it's not just a perfectly static thing. And of course, running out of gabbro and travertine as always. Hopefully I have a little more in these boxes. I got a couple stacks. Hopefully that'll be enough to finish out. We're almost done kind of going through and adding details here, I do believe. It'll just be kind of some big stuff going on now. That looks pretty good. I do need to come up to the top now and fix this up. Now that we're up here, we can come over here and add a few to the top part just to actually add some smoke that comes out, because of course it's not actually hollow. You got to add the smokes or the campfires on the top and kind of hide those. With the way I have these laid out, that wasn't going to be an option, having all three if I want to do the trapdoor thing to kind of hide them off. So we're just going to destroy the one in the middle. Then after we destroy the one in the middle, we're going to come back over here and just start laying our trapdoors here around our campfires to make them a little bit more visually interesting, because no one wants to see the campfire on the top. You want the illusion that it's hollow on the inside and that smoke is actually traversing all the way up the stack and coming out the top there. So we have that, and of course we're out of trapdoors because I never come prepared apparently, so let's just run back over here and grab a few of those out. I've got everything I need on me to craft a few more of them up right quick, so let's just make sure we're not going to run out of trapdoors anytime soon. Condense some inventory down here and make some more too. Why not? Bunch of spruce trapdoors. Whew. Look at that height, man. That was literally just a double jump and a dash. That's crazy. It's crazy the kind of mobility you can get in Vault Hunters with just a couple of the perks. And, you know, we're not even at the end game right here. We're only about halfway through. Didn't have time to get through this mod pack before 1.18, but that's okay. Looking forward to 1.18. It's going to be a really good time. Back on track here. Going to knock that down a little bit and give it a little bit of height variety. And I think that looks rather good. Nice little smokestack for our chimney there. It'll help tie the structure in a little bit more. Apparently I forgot a stair right there. So let's take care of that really quick. I've got some frame stairs on me I can patch that up with, and one piece of basalt. Perfect. Now I got a nice little spot for a window here. Throw one of my panes in, just to get a little extra light in, and we're going to ignore that one stair right there because, yeah, don't have anything to fix it with. Come back around. Add one of our mini trapdoors we just filled our pockets with right here, just so we can get up a little cleaner without bumping our head on the top of the roof there. And continue on with the themes of using trapdoors to, basically we're going to kind of give our staircase here a pseudo wall. And this is a really fun effect you can do with trapdoors. Next to the fence posts like this, they'll actually connect up with the trapdoors there, so it kind of looks nice. It kind of gives it a feel of a wall, like a thin wall. And then we're going to come through where Chad's standing here, and we're actually just going to give it another row of these to really sell the look of a nice little wall divider here. Kind of breaking up the room and giving a nice little variance of textures there and thicknesses for depth. Next on the agenda, we're going to run around here and just start. We blasted all the torches out of the floors that were just randomly chilling there. We're going to go through and fill those with glowstone, and of course cap the glowstone with just some gray carpet or something to kind of, you know, tidy up the texture a little bit so it looks a little better. The carpet being elevated is a little bothersome, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Kind of mixes in nicely with the deep slate. Come out here and sticking with the theme of adding windows to give the house some brevity and some life, we're just going to open it up right quick, throw that there, and right, I'm having trouble with this last one, come on, yeah, there we go, we got it. Now we come back upstairs to the bedroom and throw another few light sources in here. It's very dark, and bust in yet another window. So this one's not going to line up low and on eyesight, but that's okay. We can just raise it up a little bit and have a little bit of an elevated window. I think that'll still look pretty good, and of course still let in some natural light. Really like the texture of that wall, so I'm not going to mess with it. We're going to come back over to the tower as well and add a window or two into here, just to, again, give some natural light and a little more openness to the feel of the structure instead of it just being closed walls everywhere. Adding a window to the tower is actually kind of matching the source material for this build too, because it had a couple big windows kind of on it to let light into the staircase, and I think that was a really cool structural detail that they had added, and I really wanted to get that in here too. These windows are not nearly as big as the ones on the actual house in real life, but I still think it looks rather good. I think they look rather good, they look rather fitting. They definitely almost make the tower look taller when you're on the inside, which is something kind of curious. We'll see that in a moment when we do the walkthrough around the rest of the building. But rolling right along here, we're going to go right back into the inside here to that area that I wanted to add some things to and kind of shape this little tower out on the inside just a little bit better and kind of give it some roundness to it and bring it out just a little bit. Yeah, it's simple how just putting a few blocks like that. Ugh. Not that block though, not that one. Putting a few blocks like that will help kind of shape and give that a little more definition. That helps a ton. And here we are. The build is completed and it's time to take a tour. So out here you have the entranceway, of course, which is the porch and the front door with a few flowers, some greenery. Come right in. This is the area I was using as the work area. You have the entranceway here with some greenery and some furniture that Chad was so kind to run around and place for us while I was finishing out the structure. You come right out here to the main living room area, and of course the tunnel right there that goes down to the rest of our bases. You have a nice little portrait of an arrow being shot from a bow on the wall. And if we walk on down the staircase here, you can see, of course, the big tunnel that connects everybody's houses up together, and my little entranceway coming right up into the living room. So we come right back over here to the back door area. I believe on the actual house this was a garage, but of course this is Minecraft, so this is just another nice little room, a nice little back door to go back out towards the sea. Turning right back around, we have our wonderful kitchen with our modern fireplace stuck into the corner here, featuring a Chad sitting at the bar here. I'm gonna give him a slap for good luck. Did 5 hearts of damage because I have like strength 8. Sorry, man. Not my intent to kill you with my fist. I did come around off camera and add some iron bars and kind of finish out the walkway, so the wraparound porch actually has a bar on it now that looks rather good. And of course, looking at the windows from the outside here, they look rather nice for like tall skinny windows there. And our spiral staircase that I cobbled together in the last episode, and our tower there, as you can see, like I was saying, it looks a lot bigger or taller with those windows added. Kind of a blank wall there, didn't really feel like detailing it out too much. Of course, if we would have had more time to actually live in this house and progress before 1.18 came out, then more things would have filled it, but alas, this is where we will be. Coming right across the way here, we have our bedroom and our connected bedrooms. Our bedroom's kind of a two-tiered situation here. I think it looks rather good, kind of tucked in the corner there like that. And then of course we have a big open area for reading and a topside balcony porch right here. And then of course our nice little tucked away staircase that leads to our attic right over in the corner that comes right up here to the finished attic without the 2 blocks, as I mentioned before. And our nice little finished out roof garden with some torches, or some lanterns, excuse me. Of course our chimney, love it. And our solar panels on our little roof garden. They look excellent. And one last little fly around in free cam here so you guys can get a feel for the whole structure from the outside. I think it looks rather nice. It's got a lot of interesting shapes and dynamics, kind of getting everything connected together. It's got a nice little walking area. And all in all, I am very pleased with the way this build came out. I really had a lot of fun working on it and taking you guys along for the ride with me, trying to give you some tips and tricks for getting your buildings looking realistic and modern. But that brings me to my last point, which is what we're going to be doing for Vault Hunters 1.18, and I have some exciting news for everyone. We are actually going to be joining an SMP called the Toy Castle SMP, and there's going to be a bunch of fun people on there that we're going to be recording and creating content with. Cannot wait to get into it. As always, I appreciate you guys checking out the Vault Hunters progress. Here's a couple extra shenanigans from the end of our 1.16 map. And I've been Simply Zach, this has been Vault Hunters, and I will see you guys next time for Vault Hunters 1.18. Until then, have a good one everyone. See you then.